We're traveling the world today, but very quickly. We're packing up to see impressive sights in 10 spectacular countries, so stay tuned. Hi everybody, and welcome to Fun to Know with Carol. If you're new here, I'm Carol Chenot. Fun to Know with Carol posts every Tuesday with videos intended to inspire and uplift you and have you saying at the end of them, "That was fun to know." My traveling friends and I have something special planned for you today. I asked them for highlights of the country that they most enjoyed visiting. So you're going to see quick snippets and pictures from 10 spectacular countries. If you're not comfortable traveling yet, I hope you'll just view this as a high-class substitute that you don't have to wear a mask for. If you're thinking about traveling, my wish is that this will pique your interest and get you inspired. So sit back, relax, and let's get ready to roll. Taking the long flight to New Zealand is definitely worth it. There's so much to be impressed by on both the North and the South Islands. My husband and I totally enjoyed the diversity of topography, from beaches to glaciers, from cities to sheep farms. In fact, there are more sheep than people in New Zealand. But besides the obvious sightseeing locations, we were impressed with the culture. We found that there's a very positive sentiment towards Americans who remember World War II, since we came to their aid when Britain didn't. Also, they're working hard to make restitution to the Maori people for land grabs done in the past. They actually are actively working on their plans to reinstate lands back to the Maori, which is impressive. Of all the countries we've visited, New Zealand is one to definitely repeat. My friend Michelle shared her highlights of Cambodia with me. She tells me Cambodia is a country full of the most generous, kind, and smiling people on earth. The population's 95% Buddhist, and the spirituality and belief in a higher power and the next life are real. In the cities, poverty is beyond belief, and yet they'll give you their last potato if you look hungry. Angkor Wat, located in northwest Cambodia, is the largest religious structure in the world, measuring over 400 acres. Watching the sunrise over the temple is considered a spiritual experience, and it's truly a spectacular sight. But what Michelle found most fascinating about the temple is that the history of the temple and of the times is carved into the sandstone in little vignettes along the wall. Although Cambodia suffers from a rainy season like most Asian countries, their growing season is outside of that, when it's hot and dry. The fields are stepped, cut into the sides of mountains, and this allows minimal water to cover maximum area. Scott and his wife went on a trip to Thailand a few years ago. He tells me it was one of the most beautiful places he's ever visited. The people were friendly and welcoming, the scenery was stunning, and the food was mind-blowingly good. No trip to Thailand is complete without a visit to one of their incredible food markets. Young coconuts smeared with a bamboo straw provide an instant tropical drink. Coconut water's just perfect for satisfying the parched throats of these tourists. No trip is complete without at least a day trip to the Phi Phi Islands, an island chain in Thailand between the large island of Phuket and the Straits of Malacca. What makes this such a memorable area is the gorgeous blue-green water, studded with limestone cliffs and incredible rock outcroppings. These rock formations are dauntingly large and scattered everywhere, simply jaw-droppingly beautiful. Moving on to Europe now, we get to visit Romania, home country of my friend Aggie. She wants you to know that Romania is one of the most underrated gems in Europe. It offers history, waterfront views, beautiful countryside, and bustling cities all in one. Its amazingly varied landscape makes Romania the most biogeographically diverse country in the European Union. You can venture to view snow-capped mountains, green hills covered in forests and vineyards, sandy Black Sea beaches, and Europe's largest and best preserved delta. Romania is best known for Transylvania's Bran Castle, better known as Dracula's Castle, as it was the inspiration to Bram Stoker's Dracula. Dracula is based on Wallachian ruler Vlad the Impaler, who was best known for the ruthless way he disposed of his enemies in the 1400s. Glacial lakes are also abundant in the country, with Lake Bulla being one of the most scenic spots in the Făgăraș Mountains. Salina Tour de Salt Mines also provides an incredible display of light, water, and sound to eager tourists, with fascinating history as a backdrop. I had no idea before visiting Croatia what to expect. I knew Goran Višnjić was a native and that he thought it was beautiful, but beyond that, no. Well, was I surprised. It's across the Adriatic Sea from Italy and has quite a bit of Italian influence. But the walled cities will take your breath away with their history. Dubrovnik is the most famous walled city, dating back to the Middle Ages. The narrow cobbled streets are a treasure trove of beautiful buildings, Baroque churches, lively squares, and gleaming marble topped with the signature burnt orange rooftops. Driving the Dalmatian coast is beautiful, and combining it with a trip out to one of the islands would make your trip unforgettable. My friend Sandy had a hard time deciding what to share and finally decided on her highlights of the Netherlands. Her first comment, although cliche to say, is it's amazing. They are friendly and so happy to show their country. While Sandy and her husband don't speak Dutch, almost everyone there speaks English and is happy to try to communicate in any way possible, typically through food and drink. At the top of the memorable things list are the canals and the architecture. Amsterdam is a land of canals and therefore water transport is very important, gondola and water taxi. But bicycles are also a preferred mode of traveling after walking. They were everywhere. Windmills and tulips are abundant as well. We were there just ahead of tulip season, Sandy said, but still saw plenty. The Keukenhof Gardens. It's the world's largest flower garden and covers 79 acres. And every year they plant 7 million flower bulbs. Every year. Then there's history. Anne Frank's home and Rembrandt's studio are just two examples of history and culture everywhere. And town squares like this are typical of the Netherlands. They're great places to just sit and enjoy a snack. One of our favorites was bitterballen, a Dutch snack meatball. Taking a ferry from Spain to Morocco was rather dramatic, considering that my son and I were just jaunting over to Africa from Europe. It took a while for me to wrap my head around that continent change. The highlights of this trip to Morocco included an overnight stay in a Berber camp in the Sahara Desert. We rode camels there and back, which was an experience in itself. But once there, we were amazed with the vastness of the desert and the fact that we could see 100 times as many stars there. It was truly awe-inspiring. Traveling to Morocco by car or bus reinforces that this is a Muslim country. You won't see any women in the sidewalk cafes, all just men chatting and socializing. There are women business owners, one being a beautiful woman we took a cooking class from. The Medina, or ancient walled section of the city, was where we bought herbs and we took our class from her. If you travel to Morocco, I recommend not staying in a large hotel. Stay in a riad, which is like a moderately priced but beautifully decorated bed and breakfast. They are everywhere in Morocco, and yes, you can reserve a riad on Airbnb, even in Morocco. Jody shares her insights from a trip with grandson Jack to Tanzania. Countries in the middle of the African continent are the last truly wild place on this planet. No fences, no restrictions. It is the animals' land. We are the visitors and caretakers. They have the right of way. Tanzania is in East Africa, on the other side of the world and below the equator. We spent a week in the Serengeti. In Swahili, Serengeti means endless plains. Once a year, the Great Migration takes over, one of the 10 natural wonders of the world. Millions of wildebeest, zebras, gazelles, antelope all migrate north in search of better grazing and water. The grass is about 6 feet high. The zebra eat the top layer, the wildebeest eat the next layer, and so on. The herds clear the land, till the soil with their hoofs as they go, and fertilize next year's crop. Amazing circle of life. As far as the eye can see, animals dot the landscape in all directions. When a herd decided to cross the road ahead of us, we were stuck in place for quite a while. It's their land, you know. The size of the herds reminded me of descriptions I've read of buffalo herds a century and a half ago. This is the last truly wild place on this planet. Traveling to Ireland can be a wonderful experience if you're from North America. We traveled with our friends Bob and Charlotte, and they had some lasting impressions, not the least of which was that the Irish are America positive, and they speak our language with a delightful accent. When we traveled, it was chilly, which was to be expected, and we also had mist and rain, which was to be expected as well. But the thing that we loved about that was that it just added to the mystique of Ireland. It also, of course, is what makes the country so green and lush. As we drove the countryside, Bob noted that there are most likely industrial-type farms in Ireland, but he was fascinated by the small-time farmers slopping around in their galoshes. It just seemed like farming was on a smaller scale back a few decades. It all contributed to our visit being very nostalgic and picturesque. If you want to go to a foreign country that really takes you back, Ireland will provide that. Cuba is such a fascinating country with its political overlay touching everything. As Americans traveling to Cuba, my husband and I went on a people-to-people trip, adding a nice human element to the trip. The expectation was that you would connect with people in a humanitarian way. So after every dinner, we had conversation with the self-employed owners of the Paladar, which is the restaurant that we ate in. The stories about Cubans loving dominoes and mid-century cars are all true. Domino games are noisy but friendly, and they were more than happy to teach us the finer points of the game, which was great fun. Every car you see is not a classic car, but there were lots of them, and their owners proudly show them off. There are plenty of beautiful beaches and resorts in Cuba, but my recommendation is to skip those for at least part of your time there. Take an opportunity to do some people-to-people diplomacy if you're from the U.S. If you're from Canada, in the winter, you can head to the beach. Cuba, it's a fascinating country. It's been a whirlwind trip, hasn't it? Thanks to my friends for sharing their country highlights. To see more places and people that we care about, check out this playlist, and we'll see you in the next video.